The next huge expansion for Destiny 2 is approaching rapidly, and fans have a ton of new content to look forward to. Eyes up, Guardians, Lightfall is almost upon us. Today, we're jumping into all the juicy details that we have for the next DLC for Destiny 2, Lightfall, which is set to release at the beginning of February 2023. Welcome everyone to the Lumberzak Gaming channel, your place for friendly, quality gaming content. That's right, Destiny 2's next expansion is almost upon us, so let's talk about the new subclasses, the new setting, and some huge quality of life updates for longtime players. That will be towards the end of this video, so be sure to stick around for that. Let's not waste any more of your time and dive right on in. According to Bungie, Lightfall marks the beginning of the end of the Light and Darkness saga that's been unfolding for a long time now. Considering that we're closing in on almost a decade of Destiny since its release in September 2015, there's only one expansion after this called The Final Shape. It is insane to think about the fact that Destiny 1 came out in September of 2015. However, there is sure to be huge plot points with the DLC, considering that there's only one more to come after that, which is going to close out this decade-long saga. Along with some great new story points, we're going to get a new city on Neptune, a new subclass called the STRAND, and tons of new quality of life improvements that hopefully every single person is going to appreciate. I really think that a lot of people are going to appreciate these changes. At the time of this video, Destiny 2 is in Season 19, and we're looking at a release date of February 28th, 2023. Now, obviously, I just stated that we are reaching the beginning of the end. However, as of right now, Bungie has no plans to take Destiny 2 offline after the end of the Light and Darkness saga. But over the last decade, there has been a giant story that has been unfolding in this saga, and long-term players will know a lot more of the details than some of the newer people, or people who just enjoy it for being a shooting game. But we are guaranteed to see some very climactic story moments in this, all leading into the final shape, which is going to be the resolution for the game's ongoing storyline. Which means that we're going to be able to get answers about the light, the darkness, the collapse of humanity on Earth, you know, all the really good stuff. If you haven't been able to tell by now, the whole Lightfall expansion seems to have like an 80s synthwave kind of feel to it. I'm honestly here for it, and that's a theme that you're going to see throughout the expansion. And the pre-order bonuses that you're going to get from this expansion definitely reflect that, because if you pre-order the game, you will have instant access to an exotic ghost and a legendary emblem. And if you pre-order Lightfall and you get the annual pass, you'll get those items and instant access to the Quicksilver Storm exotic auto rifle and an exotic emote. I am a sucker for auto rifles. Like, auto rifles are my main thing, which makes this extremely tempting. The emote and the ghost, you know, take it or leave it for me, but man, I love a good auto rifle. Clearly from the trailer, we're getting some awesome footage of the new subclass, which is called the STRAND. This brand new, all neon green, again, just feeding into the 80s synthwave thing, Darkness subclass is all about wielding psychic energy. So Lightfall is going to debut this new subclass. Its key features definitely seem to be about movement and players' abilities to grapple through the world around them. It also allows people to tap into the matrix in the world around them that connects all beings through consciousness. So let's take a second and break down what each class is going to get, because it's pretty freaking sweet. The Warlock's new subclass is called the Architect. Architects effortlessly manipulate the weave using their own mind. From the backline, these telekinetic sorcerers can even twist STRAND into sentient creatures to do their bidding. I mean, if you're talking about Darkness subclasses, I mean, that seems like right up the alley. The Hunter subclass is called Threadrunner, masters of movement, speed, and grace. The city is a Threadrunner's playground as they grasp threads and weave new ones to dart through the air, finding the fastest way between 2 points. I've always loved a good Hunter playthrough, but as you watch the Hunter just move around throughout this footage, it definitely seems like a pretty nasty subclass. And finally, the Titans subclass is Tyrant. Untamed and wild, tyrants tear at the strand to manifest claws they use to sever their targets from the weave, leaping into harm's way with wild abandon. The line no one crosses is drawn by a tyrant. I gotta be honest, and this is just me personally, I think this one's the best. Granted, I've always been partial to Titan in Destiny 2. Destiny 1, I was a Hunter fan. Destiny 2, I'm all about Titan. Also, if you look at it, it's giving Wasabi from Big Hero 6, but that's not a bad thing. Let me know in the comments which one of these subclasses you are trying out first. Like I said, I think I gotta go Titan. Neomuna is the next location that is going to be a city on Neptune in Lightfall. This feels like such a change of pace for Destiny 2, and I'm totally here for it. It's a bright and luminous city that has a really stark contrast to, the barren, desolate Earth that's been overrun by fallen enemies and Cabal invaders. This place is filled with harbors and office buildings, and there's even an arcade. Again, 80s synthwave. I'm completely here for this. Honestly, it's about time that we're able to run through city buildings and stuff in this game. Aesthetically speaking, this is by far going to be my favorite DLC. But the real big deal is what's happening in the city. Callus's army has placed his army in the city, putting it under siege pretty successfully. However, a new Cabal force instead of the Red Legion that are known as the Shadow Legion are to blame for this one. The Shadow Legion can be seen with different armor and apparently are more powerful than the Cabal that we've faced before. Really convenient in, the gaming industry. Now the threat's worse. But they got this way because they were enhanced by pyramid technology. They also have suppression devices to eliminate some of your abilities and are aided by enemies called Tormentors, which are just, these headless deity things. Now, if you haven't finished the Witch Queen, there might be some slight spoilers here, but to really talk about what's going on, we discovered at the end of the Witch Queen campaign and into the season of the Haunted that Callus is just a disciple of the Witness, and the Witness appears to be the leader of the Black Fleet that caused Mars, Mercury, Titan, and Io to disappear. Now, the inhabitants of Neomuna, I really hope that I'm saying that right, are known as Cloud Striders, and if I don't get one of their vehicles, I'm gonna be really upset. They're described to be comparable to Guardians in that they're the protectors of a city under threat, but they differ by the fact that the Guardians were chosen to protect humanity, while Cloud Striders decided to do so themselves. Obviously, I don't think that Cloud Striders are going to be any kind of playable character, but they look pretty cool, and I really want one of their boards. Now, with the most recent Witch Queen expansion, Destiny 2 offered first time ever legendary campaign options. So this let players that wanted to experience the campaign on a higher difficulty to be able to get more exotics and bonuses in the end of their run. Bungie had also said that the next DLC would have an option for a legendary campaign mode. However, when Lightfall was announced, we did get confirmation that this will be a feature from the start. The main goal here was to be able to be raid ready when you're done with the campaign, so that as soon as the raid goes live, that you are ready to jump right on into it. Obviously, we're expecting to see new content when Lightfall comes. However, we might be getting some old content too. The team has announced that Lightfall will include the return of 2 Destiny 2 Crucible maps and an entirely new map. And if I'm a betting man, which I'm not typically, but we're gonna go for it here, the new map is probably themed around Neomuna. And this is only the second new Crucible map in more than 3 years. The team has not confirmed whether these maps will be available right at the launch of the DLC or if they're going to be down the road, but we do know that they are coming and we do know that 2 are returning. Alright Guardians, it's time for some big news of things that we can expect when it comes to quality of life, and I think that these are a pretty big deal. And it fixes some of my biggest frustrations when it came to the bigger parts of Destiny that I didn't really get to experience. First off, we are going to be seeing the introduction of Guardian ranks that are going to be a visual indicator of a player's game mastery. Now the team says this is not to celebrate the game's best and most active, but to provide newer players with a visual so that they know what types of players might be able to help them out. And while this might be somewhat true, let's be honest, people just want to have a ranking system so that they can show off their high rank and so that they can mark how far they've gotten in the game. This is also step 1 into fixing a bigger issue when it comes to solo players trying to find teammates to run higher difficulty activities and things like raids. Most people ended up going off the platform to things like Discord or Reddit or forums just to find higher level people that were able to do these activities. But that leads us to the next thing that's really huge, is the fact that Bungie is creating an in-game group formation in Destiny 2 to make finding teammates easier. Good God, why is it taking this long? Like seriously, I didn't get to experience a lot of the raids in the game because it was so hard to form a team, and the only times that I did, I had to go off the game to find a group of people that wanted to do these raids. So it's nice to see that Destiny, after like 8 years, has decided that this is an important thing to do. They've also announced that commendations are coming to the game so that players can give feedback about their teammates and the people that they're playing the game with. However, it's only positive commendations, so you're not allowed to tell them if somebody's bad at the game or wasn't a great teammate. Is this really that helpful? Remains to be seen. Another huge thing that the team has announced is that they are now offering options for players to create and save loadouts and manage their mods. This is a big deal because when players want to switch out their gear for different activities, they would have to remember to put everything back the way that they wanted it. And sometimes that meant missing a certain armor mod that they meant to put on or put back on, which can honestly really mess with a player's build. So having saved loadouts is going to be a huge win for fans of the game. Obviously, Destiny 2 is a super long-running game. A lot of people have thought that it's been dying out. However, Lightfall looks like a fresh new take on the game. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Check out this video over here for more games that are upcoming. Hit that subscribe button if this was helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next one.